Graphic novels and comic books are a very popular form of reading. Every year, hundreds of new superhero, comedy, and adventure books get published in the graphic format. However, a lot of times these books are marketed towards boys and they have male protagonists and male-centric points of view. And additionally, many of these books feature white protagonists. However, there are many options out there, and many of them feature diverse women. So 3 of these that I'm going to be showing you today are Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys, Miss Marvel, Volume 1, No Normal, and this is by G. Willow Wilson, and The Well, which is by Jake Wyatt. So, I want you to consider this question. What would happen if you discovered you had superpowers? If you woke up one morning and suddenly you had powers beyond your understanding? How would that change how you live? Do you think that you would be able to use those for the greater good, or do you think you would use them just for yourself? Power often comes with complexities and difficult choices, and all of these questions are faced in this first book, Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys. This graphic novel follows the main protagonist of Lolo Wright, who discovers that she has superpowers and that she isn't the only one in her neighborhood who discovers that they have superpowers either. Lolo is a brilliant student who is often overly polite, and she follows the rules as often as possible, but does struggle with being mocked by some of her classmates for this. But this all changes when she discovers that she has superpowers one day. And these superpowers are that she's able to levitate objects with her mind, and it comes out as these really cool illustrated diamonds that are able to levitate things, which is a really cool illustration of a superpower. This book deals with financial struggles, bullying, police brutality, racism, and coming of age. And all of these themes come together beautifully in this original story that's inspired by African American experiences in New York. The author, Alicia Keys, is a well-known songwriter, but she's also an activist, and her passion is apparent through every single page of this book. Readers root for Lolo, her brother James, her classmate Runt, and other characters in the neighborhood as they struggle against Skin, a villain who rustles up protection money from people in the neighborhood through threats of violence. The book bounces between high school dilemmas such as being paired with a slacker on a group project to very real life stakes, such as when Lolo's brother gets falsely attacked by the police for a crime that he didn't commit. And this is something that he struggles with throughout the novel, after the aftermath of this, where he says multiple times that even though he was innocent and he didn't do anything wrong, he felt like a criminal after that, and he felt like there was something wrong about him because he got attacked by these police. And so it really highlights how quickly Black Americans can be profiled and how quickly the justice system can turn against them. And it makes readers consider how often this happens in real life without superpowers in the world and without a happy ending. And so overall, this is an extremely engaging read. It's a brilliant piece of social commentary and an original superhero story not connected to Marvel or DC Comics. And you should definitely pick it up and give it a try. Again, this is Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys, and it is co-written by Andrew Weiner and illustrated by Brittany Williams. Our next book is another superhero book. And this one is associated with Marvel, and it begs some questions. Like, have you ever wondered what would happen if you did live in the same world as Captain America or Iron Man or Captain Marvel? If you knew that these powers existed in the world? Well, Kamala Khan, the main character of Miss Marvel, No Normal, she lives in this reality. She's a huge fan of superheroes, and she writes fan fiction about them on the internet and gets a lot of readers for her fan fiction. But little does she know that very soon she too will be granted with great powers. She immediately struggles with her identity, trying to pretend to be someone else as she balances being a teenager, a superhero, a Muslim, a friend, and more things as she tries to juggle all of these identities. As her powers grow more, she makes mistakes, and she learns to control her new abilities as well as become more comfortable with herself and donning the name Miss Marvel, inspired by her hero, Captain Marvel, who she wished to become. This introductory issue for the brand new Marvel superhero is a refreshing new spin on the genre, and it faces sexism and racism head on. Kamala is treated differently than her brother by her parents, and at one point she tells her father that if she was a boy, he'd let her go to this party. He gets angry at her for that. She also her race and religious identities are consistently brought up by her peers, who seem to not only not understand where she is coming from, but they see her through this very narrow lens, and they apply a lot of stereotypes to her and her friend Nakia. Kamala tries to throw off this tradition that she comes from, but then she feels guilty about that later and eventually embraces who she is. And her powers themselves are extremely unique and interesting. Kamala is able to grow or shrink any part of her body or her whole body itself. And she's also able to disguise herself, change her appearance to look like other people. And these powers lead to misunderstandings, clever twists, and incredibly action-packed fight sequences. No part of the story feels cliche or dull, and it will definitely keep you reading until the very end to figure out what happens. And it will make you want more of Miss Marvel. It definitely did for me. Thankfully, this is only the first issue in many, and Marvel has also brought Kamala to life in the big screen in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Once again, this was Miss Marvel Volume 1, No Normal, which was written by G. Willow Wilson and illustrated by Adrian Alfona. All right, well, our final book strays from the superhero genre, so we're not sticking with just superheroes, and it dives into high fantasy. So this is The Well, written by Jake Wyatt and illustrated by Chu. And it follows the main character, Lizzie, who is illustrated here on the front. And Lizzie lives on these islands that are surrounded by the first water, which was discovered by her ancestors after they arrived on the island and dug the well. The islanders worship this water and make wishes by dropping coins into the well. Izzy, who is one of the only magic users on the island that we see, she comes from a family of witches and sorcerers who fought the Leviathan, this evil creature, this monster who was terrorizing the islands. But then her family, after they fought this monster, never returned. And so but what will she do when she steals some coins from the well and she's cursed by this magic and she's stalked by this evil magic? Do you think she can escape and maybe even end the times of mist and monsters that have been afflicting these islands for generations? Jake, Wyatt, and Chu create a myth which simultaneously feels fresh and brand new, while also containing the depth and magic of a Dungeons & Dragons campaign or a classic fairy tale. It is a story that contains a protagonist who is relatable, as she just wants to have fun, flirt with this girl who rows the ferry, and connect with her family history. But she's forced to fight monsters and face an evil past. And she takes on these challenges with bravery and kindness and ingenuity. She is a very brilliant protagonist who you like to follow. And the book makes you turn the pages as you really just want to get to the end and find out what happens. Also, the artwork is brilliantly gorgeous. It is definitely stylistically brilliant. You can tell that the art style and the story is rooted in Asian culture. And it is just a very exciting and fresh read right away when you pick it up. And so it's an instant classic, and you will not be disappointed. So between the three of these graphic novels, again, Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys, Miss Marvel, No Normal by G. Willow Wilson, and The Well by Jake Wyatt, it is clear that there are many diverse stories out there featuring female protagonists, and this is also just scraping the surface. So next time you're at your library, be sure to pick up one of these titles or any other that fits into this category, and I promise you, you won't regret it.